Traders! Stop gambling on meme coins and start paying attention to the bigger picture. At first glance, Bitcoin looks heavy. Price retraced, momentum slowed, and to a lot of people, this just feels weak. But when you zoom out, Bitcoin is still sitting on one of the most important trend lines of this entire cycle. And every single time price has touched this trend line before, it has not broken. It has bounced. Before we go into the charts though, you need to understand what's happening behind the scenes because the macro picture right now is telling a very unique story. Let's go! First, and this is important, Bitcoin has never been this detached from global liquidity. Historically, when liquidity expands, Bitcoin follows. Right now, liquidity is moving and Bitcoin hasn't caught up yet. That makes price look mispriced and, in my opinion, undervalued. Now, this is the most interesting cocktail finance chart that we've looked at so far because global liquidity, that's essentially the global money supply. And it shows that Bitcoin can be irrational, right? The sentiment in Bitcoin is completely irrational and shows you how it can totally misprice a market. This makes a very strong argument for a bullish reversal and trend continuation higher than pulling back further, I have to say. Second, adoption keeps accelerating. Wait a minute, what's this? Eric Trump just announced that the Trump Organization will start accepting Bitcoin at all of their properties? Let's take a listen.
We're going to start accepting Bitcoin. We're going to start accepting all cryptocurrencies if you want to stay at one of the Trump properties. It's just modern day finance. It's how things are going to interact. You're no longer going to be relegated to have to get your wire transfer out.
Wow, they've really come a long way, huh? I remember the days when it was like, folks, Bitcoin's a scam. It's the greatest scam ever in the history of mankind. And it went from that to, folks, you can pay your rent at my properties in Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency you have, especially Trump coin. It's the best currency ever in mankind's history. Pay your rent in my properties in Bitcoin. How's that for a Trump impression? And then there's this one. Check this out. This one matters for timing. Bitcoin's short-term holder momentum has reached levels we've only seen at the previous two major bottoms. Every time sentiment hit this zone before, the market was much closer to a turn than a collapse. So while price looks boring, the data says the opposite. Now, let's see how the charts line up with that. Starting with the monthly chart, Bitcoin is sitting right on top of a rising monthly trend line that has defined the entire bull market. Every touch of this line previously has led to a strong reaction higher. Not instantly expansive, but structurally bullish. As long as this trend line holds, the macro bullish trend remains intact. There is no better chart to illustrate the story of the bullish trend. Higher low, followed by higher high, followed by higher low, followed by the higher high, followed by higher low. This is where we are right now, people. If you can't see from this chart that this is the lower risk location to take positions, then I don't know what to tell you. This is why it's so important to evaluate the larger time frames first. On the weekly, we have something even more important. Bitcoin is maintaining support and the 100 exponential moving average at the same time. That is a very powerful combination. In bull markets, the 100 exponential moving average does not act like resistance. It acts like a spring. This looks like a consolidation at support, not weakness at the top. On the daily chart, price is being supported by the lower Bollinger Band, as you can see here. That tells us price action is compressing and there is an absence of bearish momentum. In strong trends, this is often where the market pauses before the next expansion. One way Bollinger Bands can help you further is by looking at the slope of the band and determining a probability based on that. For example, you see that the lower band was touched and it acted as a support. Also, that coincides with the higher low price action, which you can see right here. Now, you compare that to a situation where you have a negative sloping band and you have a compromise of the band and a break of those candle lows. That's going to favor a bearish type of situation or shorts. So that is how you can use the Bollinger Bands to help you gauge probability as far as which way momentum is likely to flow. Now the 2 hour, where price action matters most. Bitcoin has just swept liquidity, as you can see here. That's the buy side liquidity. That's exactly what strong markets do before moving higher. They flush the weak hands before they move. Yes, price can pull back slightly for balance, but above us, we have buy side liquidity. That's where it's sitting. And markets move toward liquidity. That makes the next objective very clear. Also, just have to add that weak markets do not linger at resistance levels. Weak markets touch and go. They don't linger. What that means is this is implying strength. Probability favors a bullish breakout. And if you get that breakout, you're looking at 90K with the buy side liquidity. If that 90K is compromised, then you're looking at the next run to 95K. That is what probability favors, because again, if this was weak, we would see a touch and go and not linger at resistance levels. Now Ethereum, and this chart is doing exactly what you want to see. Check this out. On the daily, Ethereum has broken out, and now it's retesting that level as support. You have the break of the trend line, the retrace, the hold, and now the continuation. That is textbook. Navigating this type of situation can be tricky because the lower high here may throw you off. The key to something like this is examining the lows. You have higher lows and you don't have lower lows after a trend line break. That is a signal right there. That is a sign that something is changing. Yes, this trend can continue to be bearish if those lows break, but until they do, you have to lean on the bullish side because that is where probability is favorable. On the 2 hour, Ethereum is sitting on a very important key level that has been respected multiple times previously. Buyers are stepping in again. You can see the higher low right there. As long as this level holds, Ethereum remains structurally bullish. And often, Ethereum leads before Bitcoin fully follows. As you can see, price has broken out and we have a new structure in play. You can see the higher lows and you can see the higher high. This is now a bullish configuration. We've been pointing this out day after day, this developing, and now it's here. So the next objective is the 2 hour supply zone you can see up here. If you want to trade these levels yourself, I left my exchange links below, BTCC and WEX. Use them if they help. They support the channel and give you access to the same tools. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and say hello, because you know how much I love hearing from you. Do it. Do it now. Do it. So when you put it all together, here's what it looks like. Bitcoin, monthly trendline support, weekly support at the 100 exponential moving average, daily Bollinger Band support, 2 hour liquidity sweep with buy side above. Ethereum, daily breakout and retest, 2 hour maintaining a major key level. And on the macro side, Bitcoin deeply detached from global liquidity, real-world adoption accelerating, short-term holder momentum at historical bottom levels. This doesn't look like a space that's in decline. This is preparation, and it further bolsters the bullish argument. Don't wait until risk becomes elevated. Capitalize on this now. Strong markets don't reward impatience. They reward positioning. Right now, structure is maintaining, liquidity has been cleared, and the macro backdrop is quietly strengthening. Stay patient, respect the levels, and I'll see you in the next one.